Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. You are not going to believe, but you probably will believe because this is Canada. You're not going to believe what Chrystia Freeland had to say when she was questioned about securing our border with the United States. This is from Brian Lilly. Asked about border security in light of the comments from Tom Homan and Trump's new border czar, Freeland repeats that Canada takes border security seriously because border security is a serious issue to be taken seriously. We're going to watch this in a sec, but first I'm going to backtrack and show you exactly what Tom Homan had to say about Canada. This is from Harrison Faulkner of True North. Donald Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, speaks about the threat coming from the Canada border. Quote, a listed terrorist crossing the northern border is 10 times more likely than one crossing the southern border. Now, this is very important because I'm going to show you something after all of this nonsense. He says on Justin Trudeau, find a better man, he is terrible. Listen to this.
Talk about what's going on in the northern border. Oh, there's a lot of chatter that's...
I grew up in the northern border.
Okay, so...
South of Kingston.
So what do you make of what's been going on there? There's not a lot of noise that comes up to Canada about the problems that America faces from a northern border, but do you think the U.S. needs to take that more seriously?
Absolutely. You know, their report last fiscal year in FY23, 227 people off the terrorist watch list crossed the southern border that were arrested. At the same time, 432 across the northern border. Remember the...
You're a good man, you're a good man and a patriot, and I love it.
Remember after 9/11, GAO did a study, and they said that a terrorist crossing the northern border is 10 times more likely than one crossing the southern border. And the number of people off the terrorist watch list crossing the northern border last year almost double the southern, but we never talk about it. Crossings in the northern border up 400 to 600%, depending on what sector you look at. I grew up near Alex Bay, again in Aquay, Kingston area, and their numbers are sky high. So, and the problem is with the Canadian border, we got very few Border Patrol agents up there, and half of them have been assigned to the southern border, which means there's very little patrol on the northern border also. It's a big national security vulnerability.
Absolutely. Well, I think for a lot of people who are not in the United States, they look at what's been going on at the southern border and they're just wondering why it seems that nothing is actually taking place, why no enforcement under the current administration is taking place. What do you make of the fact that under Joe Biden, things have skyrocketed across the southern border, and from a lot of people's perspective, nothing's actually being done?
Nothing is being done. This isn't incompetence. It isn't mismanagement. This is by design. This is open borders. This is what they ran on. They're keeping a promise because they see some future political benefit out of an open border. They think these millions of people will be future Democratic voters, but people need to be reminded they don't even have to vote because President Biden also overturned the Trump census rule, which means millions of these illegal aliens are going to be counted in the next census in sanctuary cities. So when they reproportionate seats in the House, this automatically means more seats in the House for the Dems. That means perpetual power, perpetual control. They sold this country out for power.
The Uniparty, the exact same thing that is happening in Canada right now, which is why Justin Trudeau flooded us with over 2.5 million immigrants, hoping that they would all vote Liberal. This is Chrystia Freeland questioned about the comments from Tom Homan. Listen to this.
On the border, we're hearing concerns from the incoming U.S. border czar in terms of him describing it as an extreme national security vulnerability. What's your government's plan to respond to those concerns, and do they involve more law enforcement at the border?
We take the border very, very seriously, and that's why the border was the first issue that we discussed at this meeting of the Canada-U.S. Cabinet Committee. Minister LeBlanc spoke at length. Minister Miller spoke at length. The head of the RCMP was present as well and talked about actions he is taking, as was the head of the CBSA. So we take the border very, very seriously. It is important, first and foremost, for the security of Canada and Canadians, for our border to be secure, to be controlled. And I think it's absolutely legitimate for our American neighbors to want to work collaboratively and effectively with us, and to want to know that we take border security seriously, which we do.
Are there plans to staff up law enforcement as a result?
We absolutely are working very, very hard to ensure our border is secure. It's an issue, first of all, for Canadians, and we think that
Mark Miller was asked the exact same question. Are you going to hire more border patrol and get more police officers, whatever, down there? And he said that they are working on it. They left Roxham Road open all through the pandemic. The only reason they closed Roxham Road is because the United States told them to, and it was still open. They don't care. It's crazy watching them backtrack in all of their border policy and hit full panic mode, because now they are trying to align policy with the Trump administration so they don't look absolutely pathetic, because immigration is one of the main concerns of Canadians right now, other than the economy. The Liberal government must pretend that they are conservative. It's hilarious. This is from Viva Frei. What was India's most wanted terrorist doing roaming the streets of Canada? How did he procure a firearm to commit this shooting given Canada's strict firearm laws? What the hell is going on in Justin Trudeau's Canada? India's most wanted terrorist arrested on gun charges in Canada. It is not a conspiracy theory or a rumor when the Americans say that Canada is importing terrorism. Canada is literally importing terrorism. Every single day, there is more and more and more extremism in Canada. Khalistanis march around Surrey, BC, and claim we are the owners of Canada and white people should go back to Europe and Israel. You think of any other demographic in Canada chanting all of this nonsense in the streets and what would happen to them. How has this become normalized? And the United States and the whole world is watching stuff like this, and it is going on. There is no justice in Canada. These people are not getting arrested for hate crimes. Nothing.
This is our country. Sorry. We are owner of this country. We are... Palestine. This is our country. You are from Europe. We are owner of this country. Go back to Europe. Go back to England.
This is our country. This is our country. If you're from Europe, go back to Europe. Go back to England. Believe me, there are a lot of Canadians that would just love to do that. Canada is not a serious country, and it needs to start getting very, very serious about the country, or there will not be anything left. All roads lead to Western independence, and it is going to get worse. First-hand accounts of Beijing's interference with politicians to be sealed for 99 years, Hogue Commission says. Justin Trudeau investigated Justin Trudeau on his election wins with Chinese election foreign interference. It is just more of the same with corruption and scandal in Canada. Years ago, the United States was talking about securing a northern border. Right now is perfect timing for them to do it. Donald Trump is stacking his administration with ministers, with politicians that have been criticizing Canada for the last 4 or 5 years. They are openly talking about creating a new type of border with Canada because we are a national security threat. Now, when you look at our election interference, our interference in our politicians, there's still 11 unnamed MPs. Well, I should say 9 now because 2 were released, but it's true. Canada looks like a national security threat. Justin Trudeau has become a liability. Like, all the roads lead to Western independence. It is the only way to get rid of the systemic corruption and get complete reform and get control of our provinces and pretty much do exactly what the United States is doing. mass deportation, justice. We got to start throwing criminals in jail. We got to get a hold of the drugs and the crime. It is unbelievable what is going on. Canada's productivity is in the basement. That translates to Canadians. Work doesn't pay. Canadians don't give a shit about the country. They're not going to care about the border. They're not going to care if Justin Trudeau is still there because they want him to fail. So they're going to want the border to collapse. The joke is how long is it going to take for the United States to invade Canada? Lots of people are saying can't come soon enough. Invade us already. Please help us. Nobody in Canada is doing anything. It's unreal. I will keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.